Hi everyone, welcome to week 7, where we will be talking about microbial metabolism, as seen here. This, unfortunately, I copied the wrong picture, and this is the picture that you should see for next week's module. I'm going to get that up. But this week is microbial metabolism, all right? How organisms are going to utilize the material, the nutrients that are available to them, and then go through metabolism. All right, so a couple of different things. You have chapter 7 to read, and we're actually only going to go through sections 1 through 3. Section 4 is relatively short, and some of the material overlaps with what we've had, and it's actually a little difficult to specifically pull some information out of that part. So the meat and potatoes part of the chapter are sections 1 through 3. And section 1 goes through the role of enzymes, and then section 2 talks about energy and oxidation and reduction reactions, and then section 3 goes through the major reactions that are going to involve the actual production of energy. And so here you have your learning objectives for this chapter, and you have 7 of them, and that doesn't look like a whole lot of information that you need to know, but objective 1 has quite a few different terms to look at and learn, so I would recommend flashcards for these terms. And then there's still a lot of information with these last 6 chapter objectives. All right, then your assignments and due dates for this week. You have your Learn Smart activity for chapter 7. Case study number 2, which is the case file that starts at the beginning of chapter 7. And it isn't actually over microbiology, so to speak, but rather this idea of cellular metabolism. And the nice thing about this chapter is that a lot of the material, a lot of the information crosses over between both eukaryotic cells, which is us, and prokaryotic cells, the bacteria. All right, and then I'd like you to participate in the discussion forum for the case study number 2. And so to do that, you need to make sure that you actually complete the case study assignment, and then quiz 7, which will be over specifically over the learning objectives that you see here. And my plan is to open that on Wednesday like normal, but there's the possibility that I will open it as early as tomorrow during my office hours at the Canyon County Center. All right, so there again you have your reading activity for this week. All right, and here's just an overview in connection to the other chapters, and it starts off, I will warn you, this is a tough chapter. It is, and the reason is because there is so much information, but at the same time, I try to keep the amount of detail that you need to know down to a minimum, especially since many of you are going into nursing or the general health field. You know, you need to know the basics. This chapter itself, this short chapter, all right, chapter 7, could be 4 or 5, maybe even 6 chapters in a biochemistry book. All right, so maybe, I don't know, 10 times the amount of material that you find in your textbook if you were to go through a 400-level biochemistry course. You'd find a lot more information. So really this is the big picture of information that I'm going to ask you to know for this material. And I think your textbook does a really good job at keeping it on the simple side. And I don't want to offend anyone to say it's on the simple side, because some of you might look at it and think it's quite difficult or a lot of information, but in reality there's still so much more there that isn't being presented here. Alright, then here are your lecture notes. Alright, so again split into the different sections, 7.1 You have the video of me talking through the PowerPoint notes that you have here. 7.2, just the part on ATP and energy. And then here you have the actual microbial metabolism, part 1 and part 2, 16 slides here. And this is where it really gets more detailed for a lot of you, or even more difficult, just because of the information being presented. All right, another interactive material or activity here. I'm looking at metabolism. So you can start working through that, anabolism, catabolism. And then this is a good video to watch. All right, it'll take you through another rendition of the material presented in the lecture notes. Very similar information, but just a different person presenting it. And so it's simply going to reinforce the information. All right, then you have your Learn Smart for Chapter 7 activity. You have the case study or the case file, right? Like it was in week 4, I believe, maybe week 3, where you had that first case study. All right, you've got 4 questions. You need to read the first page of the case study, that is on page 166, and then answer these 2 questions that are presented there. What is catabolism? And how does it relate to the patient's symptoms? So again, we're talking about bacteria, but here we're talking about the human patient. And then question 2, when the body lacks insulin and cannot burn glucose for energy, what does the body use as fuel instead? So again, here we're talking about cellular energy and cellular metabolism. All right, so then I want you to write those answers out. Then flip to the back of your chapter, page 188, to see the case file wrap-up, where it will give you the answers to questions 1 and 2. And then question 3, after reading the case wrap-up, is your answer to question 1 correct? If it's yes, then just write yes. If you answered incorrectly, fine. You know, you're not going to have points deducted. But then I want you to use the information from the wrap-up to type in the correct answer. And then same with question 4. Is your answer to question 2 correct? If yes, write yes. Sorry for the typo there. And if not, write out the correct answer and then simply submit it. This will be submitted on completion. So if you complete it and it looks like you actually were intentional in completing it, working through it, then you'll get all 5 points. All right, and then, okay, I'm leaving the assignment. All right, and then case study week 7. All right, here's the discussion forum. All right, so for the discussion forum this week, please write out 2 pieces of information that you found interesting from this case file. You need to have 4 to 6 sentences of solid content for full credit, and then I'd like you to respond to 2 peer posts for full credit, and try to add the conversation here. All right, I really enjoy reading through these and seeing, reading your perspective, and I really enjoy watching the conversation develop. All right, students going back and forth between each other, interacting with each other, saying thanks for the comment, did you think about this, or students doing extra research. I just like to see that strong learning environment. All right, and then at this point, this is the end, what you'll see now, but either tomorrow or Wednesday for sure, you'll have that final activity for this week of Quiz 6. So please let me know if you have any questions, and if you are available to stop by my office hours tomorrow, 8:30 to 9:30 at the Canyon County Center, or Thursday from 1:15 or so until 2:40 or so at the Nampa Main Academic Building in room 107. I think it's cubicle I. I'll be there, and I would look forward to being able to just simply say hi to you, meet you, associate a name with a face. If you have any questions, if not, just say hi, this is me. Again, it just allows me to associate a name with a face, or shoot me emails if you have any questions or concerns during the week. I hope you guys stay warm and have a great week.